Buying pants shouldn't take this much effort. Too many options, inconsistent sizing, and styles that don't work across your day. You want something comfortable, sharp, and reliable without guessing, returning, or buying 5 different pairs. That's why there's Jack Archer.
Ah, yes. JackArcher.com simplifies everything with the Jet Setter Tech Pant. One versatile pair designed to take you from work to weekend without missing a beat. Easy to wear, easy to style, and easy to shop for. The Jet Setter Tech Pant is wrinkle-free, stain-resistant, and built for all-day comfort. They stretch, breathe, and hold their shape, giving you a consistent fit and polished look every time. Backed by thousands of 5-star reviews, they're the dependable pants you'll reach for daily.
Jack Archer, ready when you are. For a limited time, get 15% off your first order with code GETJACK at jackarcher.com. Again, that's promo code GETJACK at jackarcher.com for 15% off your first order.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Dear McDonald's, your breakfast menu? Fire. 10s across the board. I could be happy with anything, even though I ordered the same thing every time. Thanks for not judging me. I'll try something new next time. Maybe.
Score a 2 for $5 deal on a sausage McMuffin with egg and more. Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer. Single item at regular price.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
From the Accident Recovery Team Traffic Center, don't worry about me. I called ART.
Traffic. Watch for construction on I-135 northbound on the ramp to Kellogg westbound. There's also road work on Southeast Boulevard northbound at 31st Street. From the Accident Recovering Team Traffic Center, that's your Odyssey, Wichita traffic.
Weather. Mostly sunny skies this morning, turn cloudy this afternoon. We'll even see a sprinkle or a flurry late today. High temperature 40. Snow showers this evening, only a dusting of snow and maybe a slick spot or two. Otherwise, mostly cloudy and 25. Back over to mostly sunny skies on Saturday. High temperature 43. Sunshine and 47 on Sunday. That's your forecast from Storm Team 12. I'm meteorologist Jake Dunn.
Basically, get out of the way.
The Dan Patrick Show.
Dan Patrick.
Yeah! This tanking has been around this season. The Jazz were fined $100,000 for sitting Lauri Markkanen in multiple games. So the discipline is public, but the behavior didn't change and probably won't change. The league may mean business, but intent and impact are not the same.
The Dan Patrick Show, middays from 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH. This is an Odyssey Sports Minute.
Presented by TaxSlayer. Start filing for free today at TaxSlayer.com. When Ravens' new offensive coordinator Declan Doyle was asked about the expectations for his players heading into the offseason program, he said, "We would expect all players to be here. The reason this is a big deal is Lamar Jackson typically skips the offseason program. We'll see if Lamar shows for the new coaching staff this spring." I'm Chris Black.
Dude, you gotta hear this.
Go ahead. I think I want to hear this.
Sports Daily is on KFH.
Welcome back in, everybody, to Sports Daily. Thanks to Prairie Fire Coffee for keeping us ready to go, get us loaded with caffeine, warmed up on these cold days. Thanks to Crestview Country Club. These cold days, good reminder to tell you that there's 2 great simulators. You know, everybody's been out there trying to play a little golf, TJ, and then bam, it's 30 degrees today. So we've got a couple simulators there, Crestview, that'll tickle your fancy, keep the itch scratched until we get a little better weather. So get in there, tee off on the nice cozy indoors, watch some college basketball this weekend. But one of many great features at Crestview. Give them a call, tell them we sent you here from Sports Daily. Coming up in the next segment, Mike Kennedy, voice of the Shockers, will join the program. Looking forward to that conversation as he gets ready for Mike Kennedy night at the Shocker game this weekend against Temple. Should be fun.
It's going to be there's going to be a who's who in the Roundhouse. We'll talk about that. Have you seen the teams they're honoring?
I have not.
1976 Missouri Valley champs, 2006 Sweet 16, Cousinar and Briard and those guys. And then 2016 Missouri Valley champs, which is Ron and Fred, right?
Yep.
Well,
Ron,
Fred on that
Fred,
team?
Evan, Cale Cotton. That was a big group. Zach Bush. It'll be fun. We're looking forward to that. Nobody will have a better pulse of things than Mike Kennedy. I'm curious to get his take on this season and kind of the direction things are headed in his final season at Wichita State, which is wild to even say out loud. We'll have that for you. KU in the national headlines yesterday. This was sort of predictable. This is what happens. This is how national headlines work, so it shouldn't surprise anybody. And I see a lot of, what do you call them, KU sickos, TJ? The people that, sometimes are out of control on social media.
Yeah.
Complaining that the national media hasn't watched a second of KU basketball and now everybody has an opinion. And I'm like, guys, listen. How do you think this works? You think the national pundits sit there and watch every second of everything? Of course they don't. They can't. But when you're on national television, you got everybody's attention because you shoot 6 threes in 20 minutes and then you don't play again. Everyone's like, well, what's that all about? Then they start looking a little bit and they're like, wait, this happens all the time? This is the number one pick? And they're gonna come up with an opinion real quick. Shouldn't surprise anybody.
Here, let me read you some pull quotes, as we say in journalism. I got some pull quotes from you. This one, if you don't know what we're talking about, if you didn't have the pulse of the national media yesterday, the most notable one that is making the rounds is none other than Stephen A. Smith, one that everybody in the world always agrees with. He sounds off on Peterson's availability this season, saying, quote, "There is no team in hell that should grab Darren Peterson at number 1 in the draft. Peterson cannot be trusted." And then Jay Williams says, "If I were a general manager, I would be extremely concerned about Darren Peterson. His talent is unquestionable. It's elite, but I don't feel like he really wants to be there." And Scott Van Pelt says, "When the presumed number 1 player in a draft sits out a home game against undefeated Arizona with the flu after having all these questions and managing minutes throughout the season with other issues, it makes people wonder, not about his talent, but about those intangibles that can't really be measured." I think the conversation has gone from the load management, because I don't think people say that anymore. I think that it's now turned into like he's got the yips is what the national media has kind of turned this into now, about like he's been hurt and now he's so scared he doesn't want to, and now he doesn't want to play.
I saw Goodman get on and say he doesn't think it's load management as much as any time there is an issue. He's starting to say the same thing we've said forever. He's just not going to play through cramps. It's not going to happen. And at the end of the day, that hasn't really changed. We saw him try to play through a busted ankle. He didn't play through the flu. He was sick. He had his hamstring injury, which everyone swears was a legitimate hamstring injury. The one thing that has not changed is when he cramps, he comes out.
I think.
Period. That's the end of it. And so I hope that it just stays that simple.
Honestly, and this is the less of two evils, I guess, but I would rather the conversation turn away from the load management. Like that one hasn't made sense. Like it made sense when he sat out Corpus Christi and it was assumed he was going to play against Duke. That's load management. And like that was what the conversation was. But I think that it's evolved so much. And it's like, why would he be load managing by only playing 18 minutes against Oklahoma State and then taking himself out of the game? Like it's hurting his stock. It's going down because of this. And like yesterday on SportsCenter, that was something that I can't remember his name. Their national college basketball reporter or whatever his name is, Sean Farnham, I think is what it is, was reporting that he'd reached out to scouts and they're like, yeah, it's something. Like we're not ignoring it. Like it's something. It's a concern. And so it's hurting him at this point. So if it was something to protect his stock or protect his value, he wouldn't play. He wouldn't have played for the last.
Now though, I see. Now we're at this weird place. This is different than it was a week or two ago, because now everyone has an opinion on it nationally. Because for obvious reasons. Again, we're getting closer to March Madness. We're getting closer to the draft. We're getting closer to all of it. So people are starting to pay attention to that conversation of who's the number one pick and maybe the most talented freshman class we've had in a long time. It's starting to enter. So now everybody's looking for something to talk about. And Peterson gave them something to talk about when he didn't play the second half. And okay, so now everybody's going to start talking about the thing that we've locally been talking about now for 4 months. And it could, a lot can come of this, right? Either Peterson doesn't care and just continues on his way, which is probably a best case scenario. It motivates him to do something he's clearly not comfortable doing, which is, I would say, less likely, but would be great for KU. Or your point of like, nope, this isn't worth it. I've got to shut it down, which would be the worst case scenario. And there's a lot of KU fans out there right now who've been like, oh, they're better without him. They should just sit him. And that are going to find out real quick that's a bad news situation for Kansas.
This is interesting. And by the way, to finish my point earlier, if it's load management or like mental gymnastics, like I'd rather have mental gymnastics because that means that you're trying. And I think that's what we're seeing. He's tried every game. Like he's not just sitting out games. Like he's tried to play in them. And so I think that there actually is something to be said about that. I hadn't really thought about that side of it. Other point. This is an interesting thing. Mark Titus, who's the Barstool guy, who, whatever. But he had a good point yesterday and said, like, this is going to boil down to one or two things, and it's finally like what the scouts are starting to, reportedly think about. Like everybody was like, he's doing this to protect his stock, and it's like, well, what happens whenever the season finishes up and it's April and he's talking to the scouts and you do the pre-draft interviews and they're like, hey man, like what's all that about? Because they're going to ask you that question. And it's like you either have to say one, yeah, all those things I was hurt with and sick with, like that was a fluke. Like it's fine. Like don't worry about that. Or two, like, yeah, I was just playing it really safe. I wanted to make sure that I was good for you guys. And it's like, so you didn't want to play for the team that paid you a couple $1 million? Like that, is that not a red flag? And I think that is but I don't think it's that. I think that it's, like I'm saying, like the mental gymnastics part of it is probably where we're at in the saga. But it's, and to the point that I made yesterday is that like in the list of options that you have, KU is playing out the only option that is the best case scenario. Like, like it's either they shut down Peterson for the rest of the year. It looks bad on KU. They put him on a minutes restriction. It looks bad on KU for limiting a guy that's the first pick in the draft. And it may hurt your team if you do either of those options. It won't make you as good, I guess. Peterson shuts it down himself. Obviously not good for KU because you'll lose Darren Peterson. You keep trying every game is just kind of the middle ground where you have to sit.
Scenario. Because if you keep trying every game and he doesn't cramp, great, he plays. We've seen him not cramp in a lot of games lately. It is what it is. So the question and the concern now becomes this big national conversation. So does Peterson and do they change their minds and say, yeah, that we got too much on the line here? Like that is not worth it. Or is it one of those motivating things that's like, you know what, forget this. Like I'm going to show them. The problem is there's been plenty of reasons to do that. They can't get through the cramps. He needs to show NBA scouts he can just not have cramps too, which is a thing, right? Is he healthy? Like, can he show us he's healthy? Because we got 4 other really good looking players here that would all be number 1 picks in their own respective classes. Like, can he show us he's healthy?
It's the point that I made back in the non-conference, and now I feel like maybe it's just because it's gotten so much national. We talked about the Jerome Tang thing going national, that you may have been able to give him another year until the entire country set him on fire for the things he said after that press conference, and now you had to do something. Like the Darren Peterson thing, like it wasn't being ignored by any means, but then for it to get lit on fire yesterday, like I wouldn't be tomorrow afternoon they're gonna play Cincinnati. If he plays and he's okay, I will bet you $1,000 he is sitting at that press conference because they're like, you got to go say something. Like the PR right now is not good.
Yeah, it's to the point now though. What's he gonna say? I mean, all he needs to say is, guys, when I cramp, I got to come out and
exactly
and
that's
still lingers.
That's the. I was listening to Carrington on 96.5 Odyssey, Kansas City.
Yeah,
he made a point yesterday I saw on social media about like taking it back to like dating terms. It's like, imagine you're the guy and Darren Peterson's the girl you're chasing after. And it's like, hey, I think this is going to be great. Let's go on a date on Friday night. And they're like, okay, let's do it. And then Darren Peterson is like, well, actually something came up. I'm sorry. I can't make it. It's like, whatever, that happens. It's okay. And then you do it again next week. And then it happens again. And then it happens again. And it's like, well, maybe there's not as much, working together on this as, what they're but it's like, but imagine in this hypothetical, this was my pushback on what he said that I wanted to say this morning is like, what if Darren Peterson what if the girl in this scenario like came up out front and was just like, hey, like I've got this going on. I'm dealing with this. So there may be some troubles, but I'm going to try. Like, and that's the point. That's the part that we're missing. Like, we just need somebody to say that. And that's what we've been saying since the non-conference. And Bill Self kind of did.
I guess somebody besides Bill Self, because he's been saying that for 5 months.
I agree with that 100%. And I think that like the fact that he said it last week about the reference load management, I think that carried a lot of weight because people aren't talking about that as much. I think that Darren Peterson needs to go up there whenever he's up there next and get asked the question of like, hey, there's a lot of speculation that you're doing this just to protect your draft stock. Is there any weight to that? And maybe he has been asked that and I missed it, but like him saying no, it has to be worth something, whether you believe him or not. It's on the record. Like that's just what is missing.
I don't think that people are worried about that. I think people are worried that he's soft is the word that everyone likes to use. He's soft. He's soft. He's soft.
You know what I mean? Like,
okay,
he needs
that's
to.
fine.
If you want to change the narrative, if you want to change the narrative,
there's only one way to change that narrative, and that's to play through it. But he's not going to play through it. He's not going to. Unless he does something again different than he's done all season long, he's not going to. So, like, I'm sitting here like, is this conversation going to get out of control to the point where he says this is too risky? Like, I can't risk what I have in the future on this. I mean, one thing's pretty clear, and I know this hurts people's feelings. He cares more about the NBA than he cares about being a college basketball player. Okay, like some guys don't feel that way. I think he pretty clearly does, and that's fine. Again, what are you as a fan wanting at this point out of Darren Peterson? Like, you can continue to have the same conversation and get the same angry every time. What do you think they're going to do without his ability to make shots for this team? Because to me, it's just like, just take what you can get, enjoy the rest of this team, and see what kind of run you can make. I don't know what else to like. I don't know what other emotions to even spend on it. Nothing has changed. We are having the same conversation. When he cramps, he comes out, he does not return. Nobody knows when it's coming. Nobody. He doesn't. There are some games he plays 35 minutes. There are going to be some games he plays 20. It's going to come when they don't want it to. Bill Self's point, it is a concern because they don't know when it's coming, and if that happens in a big-time game, what are they supposed to do? But he's just being honest. He's just being honest with it. Yeah, of course it's a concern.
Yeah, and we talked about this yesterday, but like now, as it's gaining more traction, I don't think that changes anything for KU, but I didn't really think about it this way. Like, if it's a concern, like, what do you do when it's a month from now? What if it's the Big 12 tournament and it happens and he has to take himself out and you lose in the Big 12 tournament and you're staring Selection Sunday in the face and what if it happens every game for the remaining 5?
What if you do if you're who?
KU.
Kansas?
Yes.
Bill Self?
Do you roll the dice?
You do what I've been saying for since the early part of this season. You learn how to be good both with and without him, which they have shown us they can do. Lots of. I agree. Against Oklahoma State, I will say it a million times. Darren Peterson leaving the game is not why Oklahoma State was able to come back in that game. It's because they gave up 40 points in the second half.
I agree.
Bill Self after the game said they were tougher than we were today.
I think that's also a part that the national media isn't paying attention to, is the fact that the rest of the team is really good. And the fact that the other guys beat Arizona without him.
Right.
And so it's like, I don't know. Like, is that something that if it's a concern, is it a big enough concern?
Now, the national media right now is not concerned about college basketball.
Correct.
Every conversation they're going to have is about him potentially being the number 1 pick. The national media, those guys you hear from, Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith doesn't watch college basketball. He's an NBA guy. Like these conversations are NBA conversations. So like to watch that as a college basketball fan, you're not getting and consuming. Now, if you watch like a college basketball studio show, Scott Van Pelt obviously follows a lot of college basketball games. His take was what you just said, talked about beating Arizona without it. Like you gotta think about who you're hearing from here and say, okay, well, yeah, they're talking about him as the number one pick. Like they're not talking about what he's done in college. They don't really care what he does in college outside of how it does or doesn't help him be the number one pick. So they haven't watched any Kansas basketball this year. Kansas just has to be ready for it to happen. And how can they be the best they can be when it does? Because it's almost certainly going to. Now, my concern today, the different concern I have now today is there going to be too much national pressure and he doesn't want to do this anymore? That's my concern because I don't think Kansas is good enough without him.
This isn't so much national media, but it's something. We've talked a lot about the account That Guy Rocked on social media going around where they post obscure college basketball guys that everybody loved, like Ron Baker, Jacob Pollin, things of that nature. Somebody made a counterpart and made the account That Guy Sucked. And it's the Grayson Allens and the Aaron Crafts, and Darren Peterson's already on there. Is Darren Peterson a villain already?
No, but he could be. If he wants to be, he'd be a great one.
I know. If he could, that's the thing. Like he comes back. Everybody keeps talking about Remy Martin and the situation with Remy Martin, like where the song and dance kind of went through Remy Martin not playing games, and then he was awesome in March Madness. Like there's a chance that and that might infuriate fans more that it comes in March Madness and not the entire season before that. But that's KU fans. They'll find something
to break a lot of hearts.
But he could come out and just kind of like sit out in the game and kind of and then get to like the Sweet 16 and get Tennessee and score 50 points.
He sure could. It'd be awesome. It's a possibility
and it would
that's
shut
out there.
Everybody up.
Oh yeah, it would take.
If he does it, if he does it one time, and I've been saying it since November, if he could have done it in any of these Big 12 games, if he could have gone out against BYU like he was on pace to do, played 40 minutes and scored 45 points.
If he did it against Oklahoma State, he was on pace for it.
Anybody, literally any of the Big 12 teams, like everybody's good enough that it would if it was whatever.
You're right. He's looked the best against BYU because it was showing all parts of the game. Oklahoma State, he was just showing that
I'm just saying shooter. If you want to shut everybody up, if it's truly something you're tired of this PR look, the one thing you can do is just show them that you're the best player in the country.
And in the meantime, can you continue to play well with that? Mike Kennedy joins the show next. Don't go away. More Sports Daily.
This is Sports Radio KFH.
As a man, finding a truly great pair of pants can feel impossible. Some wrinkle the moment you sit down. Others look fine but don't travel well, don't move well, or completely lose their shape throughout the day. When you're flying, commuting, or packing light, most pants just aren't built for real life.
That's why there's Jack Archer. JackArcher.com makes the Jet Setter Tech Pant designed to be the one pair of pants you actually need. Comfortable enough for travel, polished enough for work, and versatile enough for wherever the day takes you. The Jet Setter Tech Pant is wrinkle-free, stain-resistant, and built for all-day comfort. With flexible stretch, customizable fit options, and thousands of 5-star reviews, these are the pants you'll reach for every day.
Jack Archer, ready when you are. For a limited time, get 15% off your first order using code GETJACK at jackarcher.com. Again, that's promo code GETJACK at jackarcher.com for 15% off your first order.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Get more out of every mile when you share the ride to work. With carpooling, you'll have time to relax, save money, and pick up new friends. Commuter Connections can help you find carpool partners who live and work near you. Even if you're commuting just a few days a week, it's a free service. Carpooling. Every dollar saved, every friend made. Register for free carpool partner ride matching at commuterconnections.org or call 800-745-RIDE. That's commuterconnections.org.
This is attorney Omid Azari from Azari Law. If you've been injured in an accident and feel like no one is fighting for you, it's time to fight back. Call Azari Law at 888-828-HURT. Just with one call, you can put a proven legal team on your side. Azari Law has been serving the DMV for over 15 years, proudly fighting for our local community. I was born and raised right here in the DMV, and my team is made up of experienced, reputable local attorneys dedicated to fighting for injury victims just like you. Follow us on all social platforms at azari.law. That's AZARI.LAW. Don't wait, don't settle. Fight back with Azari Law. With offices in Maryland, D.C., and Virginia, my team and I are ready to stand up for you. Call 888-828-HURT. That's 888-828-HURT. And let us fight back for you.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part? They accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right, so we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2025 Nielsen report.